As far as rear tractors go, how did the interest come up?
We went to a tractor show, and what we discovered was the people. The tractors are just an excuse for great people to get together. And we fell in love with the people and found somebody who taught Cass, because I got burned in a racing accident. I can't hand start a tractor, and so somebody taught Cass how to hand start a tractor. And so she started collecting unstyled, and then I had to have a tractor, and so I bought a tractor, you know, to have one to take to the shows, and one thing led to another.
How did your collection begin and when?
It all started with just wanting a tractor, you know. And what I noticed back when I started back around 2000 was that just about everybody seemed to be collecting either unstyled or the 30 series. And yet the 20 series kind of were more of what I remembered and part of my era. So I decided that I would focus on the 20 series, and what I wanted to do was get a number of them that were very rare. And so as I would get a rare one, I would sell a more ordinary one. And so in this collection that we're selling, for example, we have a number that are less than 100 in production.
At each show, Mecum chooses a main attraction, and you have that. It's a 1935 John Deere DI. Tell me a little bit about this tractor.
Yeah, in 1935, John Deere decided to create a model, a D industrial. They had not done that. They had accessorized some tractors, but they didn't have a model. And so not only do we have a D industrial, but we have the very first one that was built and sold. And it's a magnificent piece of work. A guy in Mississippi, Joe Spell, who's passed away, found the tractor, didn't even know it was a DI, restored it, painted it green, and he asked the 90-something-year-old man over to look at it, and as the old man was walking away, he said, well, it was supposed to be yellow. And so Joe had the two-cylinder records research for a certificate and discovered it was a D industrial, and not only that, it was the first one that was built and sold. Now, I say first one built and sold. They did build one ahead of this one, but they converted it back to a D and sold it. And so this is the first one that was built and sold.
As far as your collection goes, if you had to pick some favorites, what would they be?
One is the one I'm most emotionally attached to, is the 620 LP Standard. They only made 37 of them. I get emotional thinking about it. But a dear friend in Mississippi gave it to me. I'd been trying to find one, and couldn't find one. And I was visiting him, and he said, well, I got one over there in the weeds. If you want it, you can have it. Because his commitment was more to it being restored properly than it was to the money he would get for it. And then we got lucky in that the Erdl people came and modeled a toy after it. That was the precision toy that was sold as part of the old John Deere Collector Center collection. And then it was on a calendar. So anyway, I have an emotional attachment to that tractor because of Louis Hume giving it to me.
What advice would you give someone that's trying to get into this?
Buy your wife a tractor. Seriously. So you find her something that she wants, you restore it, and you load it first on the trailer, and you start watching how many tractor shows you go to.
And we've had to take a couple of guys for walks, quite frankly, and tell them, you're not buying a tractor that's going to make you happy. You need to buy one that your wife wants. Mm-hmm. And so that's one. The second thing is the cheapest tractor you'll ever buy is a restored tractor.
Yes.
I can tell you that buying a tractor and restoring it is incredibly expensive. So one of my counsels is, if you're really hot to have a tractor that's restored, look for one that's already restored. It'll be a better investment. It costs the same amount of money to restore a rare tractor as it does an ordinary old tractor. So if you're going to restore tractors, find some that are on the the lower number end. And so those would be the two pieces of advice I would have, whether it be a new generation tractor, or Massey Ferguson, or Alice Chalmers. I don't care what it is, I still have that same opinion.
Mm-hmm.